So I was thinking back on that day when my brother's girlfriend, it was a fight at their house. And my mama, she said, okay, let's go get her. Because she wanted to be the peacemaker. She just wanted some space to be in between the mama and the daughter so that things could come back together. So we went to their house and we picked her up and she came back to our house. It was fun having her over. I think she might have stayed about 2 nights. But my mom was thinking so much of saving somebody else, she didn't know what she was creating in her own house. She stayed for those 2 nights. And while she was there, I had started talking to a guy that was about 25 years older than me. And at the time, I was only 18. Those 2 nights she stayed over there drilled something in my mind, and I thought about it. Be careful of what you invite in. So one night I was talking to this guy, and he was like, can he come inside? I said, yep, you can come in. Now, why did I think it was okay for this guy to come inside my mama's house? Because for sure, at the age of 18, I thought if she let her stay the night over here, I know he can come stay the night over here. So I invite him into the house. And he proceeds to stay the night. I've never viewed myself as being saved from anybody. But the next thing I know, towards the middle of the night, I hear the lock on my door room pop. Who is that? Open the door, turn on the light. It's my mama. She want to know what's going on here. I say, well, I thought it was okay if he stayed the night. And I can tell just by the way she had answered. Now with my adult eyes, I can tell that she figured she disappointed herself once again because at that moment she knew that the reason I thought that it was okay for him to be over there is because she allowed my brother and his girlfriend to be together over there. I'm not saying it's right. As a matter of fact, looking back on it now, is what a silly mistake to be making. If a man is that much older than you, he should have a house to take you to versus wanting to come to your mama's house. But again, be careful of what you invite in. Because if a kid see you accept what one of your other kids are doing, they'll for surely want to try it too. So be careful of what you invite in. And I can only tell you that from that night forward, that started something in my life that was like the beginning of hell for me. So again, I say, be careful of what you invite in. Now, I had been warned before by my mom. I don't want you with this guy. But if so many things hadn't happened to me at this point in my life, why would I listen to her now? So I stuck with it. I stayed with him. He even started to tell me things like, I can't be with somebody who mama don't want me with them. So if your mom gonna give me problems, I'm gonna have to find me somebody else. Now, it wasn't that he wasn't telling me the truth. It just I didn't want to hear the truth that he was telling me. Because, I was very young at that time. Thought I knew what I was doing. But my mom begged me, don't do it. And I did. Ended up in a relationship with him. And just as sure as he said, I can't be with somebody who mom give me problems. I don't want to create no problems in no family or no nothing. So he made sure that what he told me was true. He'd find somebody else. So at the same time, he dating me and he dating another girl and he seeing another woman. And I end up pregnant. Now, the catch to this is one night, me and this guy is together, and he say, back in the days when I was a little boy, my dad did something to somebody and they put a spell on me as a kid. And he said that spell was every kid that your son has will not live. Now, I heard him when he said it, but I had never heard of such a thing ever in my life. And I always grew up in my life knowing or believing that none of that stuff ain't real. I always heard that as long as you believe in God, none of that stuff can work on you. So I was raised up in the church my whole life. My grandma was a minister, constantly in church. So I believe what they said, that if you believe in God, it don't work. But I remember him saying it. But the whole time, and he told me that before I got pregnant. But when I finally knew that I was pregnant, I didn't even think about it twice what he had told me. Well, here we were, full term baby. He's here. And I can say his dad was the best to him. There was no need to go to daycare because he went to daycare and his dad went to daycare and sat at daycare with him. He always was around for everything. But at 1 month and 2 weeks old, it's like that internal clock that knows it's time for your baby to eat. But he ain't wake up. Just something in me said, get up. And especially, it's even stronger when he's a breastfed baby. And I remember, like it was yesterday, I fell asleep watching the movie called Death Becomes Her. And I woke up to the TV making a noise, like a frying noise. And it scared me. I was like, yeah, it's time for the baby to eat. And when I went to pick him up, he was already gone. Now, there's several things that happened on this night. I can remember picking him up and going immediately to my mom and saying, something's wrong with the baby. And my mom thinking that I'm waking her up because she's late for work. And I'm just trying to get her to like understand, no, the baby. She take the baby from my hand and she just is walking around the house with him as if he's still here. And out of all the classes that I had taken, I still didn't know how to do CPR. But as the operator started to tell me how to do it, it all comes flooding back. And the next thing I know, a firefighter is coming through the door and taking the baby away. And it was the last time that I held him. And the next thing I remember is us all being at the hospital. And the next thing this man is screaming at me is that he knew he should have took his baby away from me and let another woman raise my baby, is what he said to me at the hospital. And you all, this is where I'm going to pause this story and continue it on another time. Ooh, okay. Y'all know when I come in, I have a story or something on my mind to get the tip of it off. I have to go ahead and say what I'm gonna say and then come over here into the chat. But how y'all doing tonight? Thank you all for being here. I am Life with Tashana, and this was a story time. Spiritual is in the building. Hi, how you doing? Hey, Esther, good to see you again tonight. And God bless you too. Miss Coffee, how you doing? Hey, came to hit the like. I will replay. Still on more duty. Okay, then. Thank you for coming through. Hey, sis, how are you? I spiritual. Tonight I didn't expect to actually go that deep tonight, and this is actually this story that I'm talking about. Certain parts of it, I feel like I am I'm in such a place of where I feel like I know my baby was a blessing for sure, but there's not a sadness like it used to be. So it's not the easiest thing. I wouldn't even call it easy, but I what I would say is I have peace in this situation because it's going to be a lot of twists and turns to this story. And so I'm going to take it a little bit at a time, and you all know I'll bounce around with different stories of what I'm telling, whichever one of them hit me, and then I add it to it. One of these days I'm going to have to put them into a order of how they go. But I'm figuring stuff out a little bit as I go, so everybody know Shauna be all over the place. And so but yeah, I wanted to come on and start that story off, and just like I will give little bits and pieces of it as I go, because it is going to be a very long story. I went through a lot of warfare with this story right here. So I just want to make sure I'm prepared for whatever part of it that I'm going to tell, and we'll get there. But thank you all for coming through. And we are over here, the High Class Gardeners, and that just means that we grow food. We don't mess with bugs and worms and all of that stuff, and we don't spray that funny stuff on our food. But the most important thing is that we growing something, keep you something, a little stash growing, so you don't never know what's coming. But if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So that's what we do over here. And other than that, then I'm going to say good night to you all. And one of these nights, I'm going to come on here and we're going to do another sister talk one of these nights. But again, thank you all for coming through. And I'm going to go ahead and end live so you all can go back and rewind, because I know y'all been waiting to go back to the beginning of the story. But thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell somebody. Allow somebody. Good night.